Aloha everybody. I have updated my video software, so hopefully everything goes well tonight. If not, oh shit, we'll have to keep working on it. Anyway, the market, same old, same old. We are just continuing to work off the overbought or mid-range levels in our oscillators, it looks like. Still range bound under neutral condition, but you can see stochastics on the NASDAQ coming down to the lower end. RSI is technically in the oversold region. MACD coming down, and TSV still more room to sell off, but overall, we're in positions now that if we start to rally, we could easily rally for a while before we get overbought again. But the Nasdaq still range bound. The volume was lower than the day before, so it's just not much to take from it. Russell 2000, you can see TSV starting to slowly turn up. It's got a little bit of higher lows. Now we just need to see higher highs in Russell 2000. MACD starting to try to round up from oversold levels along with RSI and stochastics. That could be good news in more intermediate term. Short term, I think we're going to be stuck in a range-bound market. S&P 500, same similar situation, range-bound. You can see stochastics, MACD, TSV trending lower, stochastics trending lower, RSI trying to flatline, but we still have room to work, quote, overbought, mid-range conditions before we can really expect that, okay, now we're going to, chances are higher than lower that we're going to rally. But range bound, don't want to look too much more into it after that. Today, no full or partial sell positions on an end-of-day basis, but sadly, NXPI, half of my sell stops were below 101.55. It hit 101.55, and it's closing at 101.64, so there's nothing to do on an end-of-day basis, and BOP's even higher. And you can see the oscillators are turned higher. So, whoops. What happens here, I don't want to go ahead and add it back. If BOP would have gone green today, sure. But if let's say that I really wanted to get it back, I would have a buy stop at 103.99. But for now, in XPI, no interest. And then also just wanted to go over some stocks I messed up on. HIL was an earnings winner. If you've been watching the videos, you'll remember here. I was looking at going long on this day. Passed because of basically it closed too far off the high day, and I still saw overhead resistance compared to the 52-week high, so I didn't go long. The next day, though, I should have taken this signal. Not only did it close near the high day at 510, but it was on stronger volume with BOP saying max green and all of the oscillators confirming the move. So it was a mistake on my end to not get long HIL. And as you can see from this day, I should have been long at 510. And now 5 days later, we're up 4.71%. But HIL is a mistake. MCGC, nothing I could do, but I passed on anyway. But the high day 445 would have been my limit. It didn't get down to 445, only hit 446 the next day. But I passed on it anyway. I didn't even put an order in because it was also part of a buyout. But this is why you don't always really worry about that, because you can see it's still working higher and can go higher, and that's why CYNI I'm still long, but really it's Sienna now because Sienna has taken out CYNI, but that chart pattern I couldn't ignore, and with Sienna confirming CYNI, it was a good trade for me. So that's all for those. If you notice, gold and silver rocketed higher today. I believe we are under a big trend change here. Stochastics, TSV, MACD, all in confirmation in the metals. Gold and silver, so it looks like that the metals want to rally. BAA, nice pocket pivot point gold stock signal today. RIC is one of the higher quality ones. Huge long base. Looks like it's ready to break out of it. This stock could easily go back and revisit the 10 level that it saw back in 2011, 2012 if gold and gold stocks start to rally. Also, TBT continues to rally, and TLT continues to sell off, with XLU looking like it's going to roll over, and that's why TERP will probably be sold off here pretty soon. Stocks that I want to think about adding buy stops later on, Data. Data is a big winner, starting to coil in a tight price range following earnings. A bit too extended for me to want to get long now. IMPV, same thing, a few more days and it'll be good. ALGN, buy stop watch will probably happen sooner than later because the base is long enough now. And JBSS, perfect speculator, scan quality stock too, just like IMPV and Data. ALGN, If it was up more, it would be because it's over $50, but pretty good stock. Stocks I am going long, SPLK, 2.5% long position in this one, even though it is CanSlim and perfect speculator scan quality. Why? Because earnings are on the 28th. They're not already in the past rear view mirror, and the two biggest losses I've had this year were due to earnings. So it's always scary going long stocks ahead of earnings. But SPLK, 2.5% position. Would it be 5% under a buy signal? No. Earnings are ahead and it had those blowups and racks, so you can't really trust it. But under a buy signal with earnings out of the way, today this is a 5% position because it's CanSlim and pre-perfect speculator scan quality. So it would be 5% in a good market with earnings out of the way. But for now, it's just 2.5%. Not going to add anything. If we were under a neutral condition with earnings coming up, but we were under a buy condition with earnings coming up, I would do 2.5% CanSlim, 1% add for being pre-perfect speculator scan for the max of 3.5%. Also, WWAV, CanSlim quality long, longer term chart pattern. You can see part of a large uptrend. Shorter term, you can see following earnings, excellent price action, big move in volume, price and BOP today. It's confirmed in the price volume BOP scan. At first, when I first saw this in CanSlim scan, I underlined it as a flags, quote, quote, flag stock that I might want to get long. But once it was confirmed in the price volume BOP scan, we were good to go. So 2.5% position in WWAV. Low a day of the day before, 512 is your final cut loss, just like with SPLK. Low a day of the day before, 512, 6610 final cut loss. And then CSV is a new long position. I wrote about it back here on StockTwits, and I was going to write about it again this weekend because of how tight the price pattern is following earnings on strong volume with the max green BOP showing up. Well, today it's moving right off the 50-day moving average on above average volume with max green BOP. It's had max green BOP for 4 days now, and with today's move, I don't want to risk not getting long and tomorrow being the big breakout day. And then it'll finally have max green BOP for 5 days, and it'll show up in my max green BOP for 5 days scan. So I'm basically seeing it as a CanSlim quality long position, and then it's being confirmed early by my max green BOP for 5 days scan. I'm going to go ahead and assume that tomorrow, barring a sell-off, it's going to make the max green BOP for 5 days scan.